A big claim that's going around right now through the mainstream media and much of the alternative media now is the allegation that the DPRK has announced that it will no longer seek reunification. Now, this is a pretty significant claim considering reunification has been a very important part of their entire national identity. The whole reason the peninsula is split in two is because of the United States. And that the reunification of the Koreas into one has basically always been their striving force. It has been basically the foundation on which their modern state was built, that struggle coming out of the Korean War. So to suddenly claim that they no longer care about reunification, that's a very strange thing to say. It would contradict everything that they are and everything that they have ever been. See, now, I found this very hard to believe, so I eventually went through media trying to find the original source, and the original source was Rodong Sinmun. So I went to the actual original article, read it, and what I found is that they didn't actually say that they weren't going to pursue reunification anymore. Here's what they actually said. South Korea, at present, is nothing but a hemiplegic malformation and colonial subordinate state whose politics is completely out of order, who's socially tainted by the Yankee culture, and defense and security totally dependent on the U.S. The North-South relations have been completely fixed into the relations between two states hostile to each other, and the relations between two belligerent states, not the consanguineous or homogeneous ones anymore. It can be said that this is the present situation that shows the relations between the North and the South today. The conclusion, lucidly looking into and recognizing the reality, stressed the need to take measures for readjusting and reforming the organization in charge of the affairs related to the South, including the United Front Department of the Party's Central Committee, and to fundamentally change the principle and orientation of the struggle. Solemnly declaring that if the U.S. and South Korean puppets stubbornly attempt a military confrontation with the DPRK, the latter's nuclear war deterrence will go over to a grave action. Without hesitation, the conclusion set forth the important task for the fields in charge of the affairs with enemies of foreign countries to make preparations in a foresighted way for keeping peace with the powerful military actions of the Korean People's Army to subjugate the whole of the territory of the South on the basis of making it a fait accompli that a war may break out on the Korean Peninsula at any time due to the enemy's reckless moves for invading the DPRK. So there's no actual statement here saying that they're not going to reunify. In fact, they said that they're going to reorientate the struggle. Now, as you continue to read through the document, it says that basically their plan has always been to have a reunified Korea with two systems operating in one country, which frankly really doesn't make any sense. You really couldn't actually do that. One of those systems would eventually collapse and the other would take over. And in the meantime, both of those systems would be struggling to win. So I'm not exactly sure what was intended by that. And what the DPRK is saying here is that they're not going to try to no longer have the South be united with them. They are very, in a kind of way, saying that the only way the Koreas could be reunified is through an actual war, where they would dominate the South, depending on who started it. By their estimation, it's going to be the South under the direction of the United States is going to start the war, and that it would be reunified through those efforts. So there's nothing here about them not wanting to reunify the Koreas anymore. That's a total misunderstanding or misrepresentation, depending on who you are and your level of honesty, of what is being said here. Now, one is free to criticize whether or not a war is the best way to reunify the Koreas, or if that even is the way that it would be done. By all means, that's certainly up for discussion. But simply saying that the DPRK no longer wants reunification is simply a false statement. One that has been repeated not just by the US media, but also the Chinese media as well. Thank you for watching. If you like this program, then please head over to my Patreon page and set up a monthly donation. It's your donations that keep this program running. Also, if you would like, please rate, comment, subscribe, and share in various social media.